But I feel like New Zealand kids, they can get away with wearing one pair of shoes for every single occasion.
Same.
We just don't really
Same.
care, you know, we don't take it that seriously.
Same.
Also, another thing.
Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to watch how kids are raised in Germany. So the thing is, like German parents, like we don't know, because we have seen that USA parents are quite similar to Indian parents, the way they treat. But we have seen Norway and Denmark. But we have seen Norway and Denmark, and they allow their kindergarten kids to even go in the forest, because the thing is there is a forest kindergarten thing all along going on.
So the crime rate is very low over there.
So
we have a very higher rates.
So we have to see what happens in Germany and what kind of like raising do they do to their kids. So let's watch this
video.
One of the signs that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you are at a playground or a play group or play date, and a German mother will tell your child that they do not have to share their toy with their child. And okay, I'm going to give you an example of this.
Why?
Because this is something that happened to me the other day, and this still always shocks me a little bit. My little boy Matteo, he's 2.5, and he's not very good at sharing right now. He's learning, but he's not the best. And we were at the playground. He brought along his favorite truck, and a little boy came over straight away, grabbed Matteo's truck. He was crying. So my first reaction when I saw this little boy crying, like most New Zealanders, I said, Matteo, why don't you share your truck with this little boy? Maybe you can play together. And then the little boy's mother, who had seen everything that went on, said to Matteo, no, you don't have to share your truck. That is your truck, and you can decide whether you want to share it or not. I'm just always a little bit taken back when I see this reaction from German parents, because this is not how this situation would be dealt with in New Zealand. And I've talked about this before in another video. I gave like an example with a little boy sharing his ball. It was a similar example, and this just happens all the time in Germany. It's also happened, Matteo has gone over to kids and started playing with their toys, and the mothers will jump in and say, no, that is my son's toy, and he gets to decide if he wants to share it. Honestly, I get this. I can understand why German parents do this, and it makes total sense. It's just something that I am still trying to get used to. I've noticed that
I just feel like it is because I think so German parents might think that okay, it is good for the children to decide that if they want to share it or not.
Yeah, but I would say that they are just leaving on the children, but we might just teach that thing that you could share. Sharing is good, but ultimately it's your choice. I mean, this is good, like they are giving time children to understand what is sharing.
And I can agree to her that India is very similar to New Zealand. In India also, what we do is we share things, and we always ask our kids, and
not only kids, but we as adults, like everybody.
It is normally the kid who, if the same thing has happened, so the Matteo's mom will tell that okay, no problem, let him play with that toy, and that happens normally. But this is something like okay, that you have your toy. If you want to share it. If you don't want to, don't do it. This is an interesting approach. I like it.
Parents are very direct and very confident in their role as a parent. They're not afraid to tell you exactly what they think, and that can be kind of intimidating when you're a new mum, especially a new mum who is not from Germany. Another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you start to get overwhelmed with the amount of shoes and protective weather gear you need to buy for your kids. My little girl Amelia is in her last year of kindergarten, and this winter I think I had to buy her maybe 8 pairs of shoes. I'm not joking. And she is constantly growing. In Germany, they take kids' footwear very, very seriously, especially in winter time. So this year for winter in kindergarten, Amelia needed snow boots, gum boots, regular boots, shoes, house shoes, of course, sports shoes, and also they do sports inside when it's really cold, so she needed these kind of like gymnastics type shoes. So that was,
I remember I just had one shoe.
Like we had 2 shoes, like regular on
and sports shoes.
Sports shoes, white one and the black one, like every day for the school.
Yes.
Like, and
this
even for for the daily life, we had like slippers or some kind of thing, and one fancy shoes when we are going out. Nothing except that. Like for rainy season, we wear the same slippers.
And she gave her child 8 shoes.
8 pair of shoes. Like,
and that too in kindergarten. I didn't have anything because there was only one shoe.
Just grow, like I can just imagine the whole room with all the footwear.
No, it is not because she wants it. It's because the school demands it.
That is too much.
So the thing is like, so you have to have certain richness in you to be like
they are very specific with that. Like you have to wear that.
7 pairs of shoes, and during that winter she grew out of a couple of pair of her shoes, so I think I had to buy like 9 pairs of shoes all up. It is serious business trying to keep up with the kids' shoe situation in Germany, and not only is it footwear, it is protective weather gear. Amelia needs a complete snowsuit and a complete rain suit, and she is constantly growing, so I'm just constantly having to buy her all of this gear. And in Germany it's kind of like there's no excuse for bad weather. Kids need to have the gear to protect them from any type of weather, because in Germany it snows, it's rainy in winter, and you know, the kids still want to go out and play. In New Zealand it's pretty different. I know we don't have this kind of extreme weather, but I feel like New Zealand kids, they can get away with wearing 1 pair of shoes for every single occasion.
Same.
We just don't really care, you know, we don't take it that seriously.
Same.
Also, another thing, German parents only buy really good quality shoes for their kids, which I think is a really good thing. I also buy good quality shoes for my kids, but they can be really, really expensive. So it's a good thing that in Germany they have a lot of these children's clothing markets where you can get really good quality secondhand shoes for a really reasonable price. Okay, so another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you can confidently breastfeed your baby wherever you want without getting looks of disapproval.
This is good.
I breastfed both of my kids in Germany, and I was able to do it anywhere and still feel comfortable. I would do it in cafes, I would do it on the street, you know, on a park bench. I would just breastfeed my kids anywhere. It didn't matter if my kids were hungry, I would feed them, and I would always do it quite discreetly. You'd never like see my boob flop out or anything. So I would, you know, I'd do it in a very discreet way, but I wouldn't care where I was. I would breastfeed, and I see a lot of German mums doing this. I remember there would be times in Germany in those early days where my baby would be like screaming with hunger, and I would just have to sit down on the side of the road, like on a bench, and feed my baby. I never once got a disapproving look or somebody that made me feel uncomfortable. I'd even get other German women kind of giving me a look of approval, you know, good on you for breastfeeding in public, that kind of thing. I remember being in New Zealand with Amelia when she was 6 months old, and I just presumed it was going to be exactly the same in New Zealand as far as breastfeeding and pro-breastfeeding, but it actually wasn't. And I remember getting some really disapproving looks for breastfeeding Amelia in public. I just really appreciate the fact that Germany is so pro-breastfeeding. It is the most natural way to feed your baby.
I think that this is one of the best things I've heard, because like in India also you cannot do that. It is very like people will see that okay, this is happening.
People will stand, people will judge you, and I've seen like even in my like cousin and like always like in my relatives, I've always, you know, seen women like they are like kind of hiding and just telling it, please just do this or just stand here for a while, cover me, like in trains or like in a public transport place when they have to feed their child. They always suffer. But I think this is the best thing because they are just normalizing it. They are not just, they are not doing like this, oh my god, what's happening, why she's doing it here. Like they are like very normal with this.
And I think so like there are new inventions also coming. Like there is one kind of a breastfeed suit that is there that you can just wear on top of your suit, and it covers the whole part, and then you can breastfeed in public. So that's how they avoid that public thing and like being in public, and still they can breastfeed. So very different.
It shouldn't be something that is frowned upon, or women shouldn't have to go and hide to feed their baby. Okay, so another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you are at a playground and you see a child doing something that you would consider extremely dangerous, like almost life-threatening, and then the other German mums around are not fazed in the slightest about it. They're barely even watching. And honestly, this was one of the hardest things for me to kind of get used to. I've talked about this in other videos. I have to bring it up again because I believe that this is a huge cultural difference between parenting in New Zealand and parenting in Germany. German parents, they let their children take risks and experiment and explore, and by doing this I have noticed that German kids have very, very good gross motor skills at a very, very young age. This definitely has a lot to do with the German parenting style of letting their children take risks. So I'm going to give you an example. Close to where we live, there is a playground with a really, really high fence made of cobblestone, and the kids like to climb up on this fence. They can kind of put their feet through the little gaps in the cobblestone, and they climb up and they like to walk around the fence, which goes around the entire playground. playground. This is a very high fence, and I would consider this to be very dangerous. Like if a child lost balance, they could really hurt themselves falling down. Except the kids in my neighborhood do it all the time. They walk around this fence. My little girl Amelia, she's 6, and she saw some of her friends climbing up on this fence and walking around, and she wanted to do the same, except I was the only mum that totally freaked out and said, Amelia, you can't do this. Amelia was really upset that she was the only kid that wasn't allowed to walk around this really high fence.
I can say that Indian parents and New Zealand parents are very similar.
Yeah.
Because I am agreeing completely to this, and in India also it is the same. Like we have nephews and like nieces. So what they do, they are just climbing on the walls, and because actually these kids do that. And then the parents just come in and no, come down, they just stop continuously. So we are very protective, and there it is very that kind of thing, the same
and
as
not
New
even
Zealand.
with the kids, like even how old we are, like still my mom is like, don't do this, or you might fall, you just take carefully. Like whenever I'm like carrying a hot soup or something, be careful. And this, like we, like Indian parents are like very possessive, just like New Zealanders.
And I think so in village we see that in Indian villages that the kids are much more into these things because they're allowed to go, they can go anywhere and do these things.
And the other German mums were just kind of like, oh, it's fine, you know, it's not that dangerous, and you know, just she'll be fine. And so I reluctantly let Amelia climb up and walk around this fence, but in my heart I was like, okay, this is so dangerous. I don't know whether I should be letting her do this. And then I was kind of questioning myself. I was like, am I crazy letting her do this, or am I crazy for not letting her do this? Because there's a group of German mothers here who are all not in the slightest bit worried about their children doing this. I'm the only one that's panicking about this, and so I reluctantly let Amelia do it, and she was absolutely fine. She didn't fall off, and she wasn't like running along the fence. She was walking like slowly around.
Wow.
But still, I didn't feel comfortable about it, and I don't know whether I should have let her. It was a tough kind of situation to be in because, you know, Amelia was going to be the odd one out, and she really wanted to do it. So I don't know where to draw the line when it comes to this kind of thing. Okay, so another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you go to a swimming pool, like a public swimming pool or a lake, and you see mothers everywhere in all shapes and sizes strutting around in their bikinis and swimsuits. So they could be 8 months pregnant with this huge big belly chasing around after their toddler, and they don't care. They're just like, I want to have fun with my kids. I don't care that I'm 8 months pregnant. Not only will you see a lot of pregnant women in swimsuits, you'll also see a lot of women postpartum in swimsuits. So maybe they've given birth like 2 weeks ago and they've got their tiny little baby under their arm, and they do not care that they have stretch marks and that they haven't lost their baby weight. I just think this body positivity is so awesome in Germany, because I think a lot of parents in other countries would refuse to get in a swimsuit if they didn't look perfect, if you know what I mean. Like if they had stretch marks, or you know, if they were carrying a bit of extra baby weight, they would hide away rather than just get in there and play with their kids and make memories and have fun with their kids. When I was pregnant with my little girl Amelia, I would never ever have gone out in public and showed my big pregnant belly off in a bikini. And I totally changed my mindset when I was pregnant with Matteo, my son. I would take Amelia to the lake, the river, the pool, and I would see all these other mums, you know, having fun with their kids, splashing around in the water, getting in there with their kids and enjoying themselves. And I was the odd one out. And then I was like, hey, I want to do that too. So I reluctantly put on my swimsuit with my huge big pregnant belly sticking out, and I got in that water and had fun with my little girl. No one looked at me weirdly, no one cared, and I was able to just get in there and make memories with my little girl without worrying about how I looked.
You know, I can become a millionaire if I can just get a penny for every time. My friends have said that, my girlfriends have said that they cannot go to like a swimsuit place or a place like a beach or something with a swimsuit on because they think they have a belly. Because every girl in India, every other girl in India has for like to wear a swimsuit, you need a perfect belly.
Yeah.
You need a size 0 figure, this and that, and they just do not wear it. The girls have a lot of issues, but seeing this, it is a very good thing that people are just happy with their body. And you know, even with me, like I don't wear swimsuits, but yes, like for me to wear shorts and all these things, I used to feel a lot. But when I visited Goa and all the other places, I was like, okay, it's okay to be like this. Like even if people see, then let them see. And then I wore it and I was very comfortable with it.
Yeah, but girls are like this, because she's talking about a pregnant lady. Like, we are like normal, like we are not married, and like we have not experienced such things. Still, we are like very conscious of how we are looking. Like, if I'm not, like, for me, if I talk about myself, like if I'm not looking good in mirror today, I'm not gonna post like any story, like any photo, selfie, because what I think is, like, people might see me like she's looking good in pictures but not in real life. So we have like very conscious thing about ourselves, like how we are looking. But if you talk about German women, they're just very free. They're just enjoying and chilling with their kids.
This is very good. And also the other part about that wall part also, so we think that is very progressive of letting them go, and I think so that should come into other countries also. So what do you guys think about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share and
subscribe.
bye.
Bye.